that good line of, I think somebody in this group, they might have been both, but I heard this group, somebody said 1, 2, 3, and you started lowering. And something as simple as counting down from 3 can get everybody on the same page, right? So, you know, that simple communication can change the game, totally change the game for your group. And yeah, do you guys have anything about this? Did you like it? Did you not like it? I'm going to point to you. Did you like it?
No, I didn't like it at all.
You didn't like it? Why didn't you like it?
Because I'm impatient and I like things done the way I want it to be done.
That's a good point, right? You don't want to have to wait on other people.
Right.
That's like my attitude. It's like towards your feet. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Trying
Another
not
thing,
to show anything.
being careful with your address, yes.
Yes, like,
That's a really good point, is finding your inner calm and saying, all right, we have to stay on the same page. I want to keep going. I want to push ahead, but we're a team, we're a group, right? So if you push ahead, then you're leaving people behind, and that's hard. I'm a super competitive human being. I want to win, right? I want all the trophies that I could get. I played softball at Eastern, so I'm like, let's go. But I have to remember that I have people behind me that I need to take care of too, or at least lend a helping hand. So like I said with this one, communication is definitely the central focus. There's a lot of things that you can pull out of this, but that communication, relating it back to your workplace, you know, figure out constructive ways to talk to your people, whether you're a supervisor or just a fellow employee, figuring out those ways that you can come to be relatable with that person can make things a whole lot easier for yourself and for that person. So nice job on this. Like I said, you guys did it pretty fast. A lot of times it can take, you know, the whole 45 minutes to get it. But it's worth it because they end up figuring it out, and then it's just like a light bulb goes off, and it's great. But our next activity is called Cross the Line. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull, don't let me get you, this rope diagonally across the room. And what I want you to do is find a partner. Any partner, doesn't matter who it is, just find somebody to pair up with. And if you don't have a partner, you can raise your hand. And let's say that I'm going to steal you for a second. You're my partner. And I'm going to stand on one side of the rope, and my partner's going to face me on the other side. So you guys go ahead and line yourself up that way. And if you don't have a partner, you can raise your hand.
somebody's going to have to go over the line. Yeah, it's not like
Does everybody have a partner? Awesome. Thank you very much. All right. So like I said, this activity is called Cross the Line. Now, we talked about it just a second ago. Our competitiveness and our willingness to just get out there and push and win can sometimes be really strong. And that's what I want you to do here. Your goal as your individual self is to persuade the person across from you to cross over to your side of the line. You have to tell them and explain to them why your side is better. They need to come over there, and you want to win. You want to win that person. All right? That's your goal, is to get that person to go across, to your side. Now, I'll let you guys do your thing for a little bit, and then once I feel we're in a good spot, I'll stop you. So go ahead and persuade away.
I don't think I've ever met you. So how long have you been in transportation? Yeah. graduated. So at any point, if you retire and come back, you're still on your first time in. Have you been actually in some kind of hotel area? Congratulations on your promotion, now that it's like, what, 2 years old or something like that? Is that? You don't do it for the money, money's good, but it's not that good.
Fully integrated, right? But fully integrated, you need to come to our side.
We did, yeah, we just switched sides. That's right. We both accomplished our purposes. The grass is pretty green over here.
Give you about another minute to keep persuading your quiet side of the
On this side of the line. Remember how good it was on the side of the line. I kind of miss home. So I wonder if you can switch it back into it. Okay, all right.
I know.
Yeah, you know.
We need to be partners, right?
Alright, so who was more persuasive and got someone to go over to their side? Raise your hand.
I did.
Hi.
I know, and I can't believe it.
Okay, cool. Who switched places? Cool. Alright, so go ahead and make a circle, let's talk about it. Alright, so I really like this
That's so
activity.
funny that you guys paired up.
This activity shows that sometimes compromise isn't so bad, right? So everybody can win. There doesn't always have to be, I never said how many winners there needed to be. I just said, hey, you want to win, right? So what's wrong with just switching sides? So this one the way I like to relate it back to the workplace is if you got someone on your team that needs some help and you want to take all the credit though, you know, we're all a little bit selfish. I'm selfish, you know, I want to be able to put my name on it and say, hey, I did this, it was my idea, blah, 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 make myself look good.
People get resentful, you can't do that.
Exactly, right? So talking about promoting passion in the workplace, you know, that's probably going to help a little bit. If you say, hey, why don't you come in and work on this with me? And that way we can both do it. We both gain something from it. We're both winning, you know, however you see winning. We're both getting something productive done. We're moving in the right direction and nobody's left behind, right? Now, working as a team, what do you need to be able to do that? What do we do in the first activity? Communication, right? You gotta, so that partnership and both of you winning relies on that communication. So all of this can be kind of tied together. But I really like this one because it shows there doesn't always have to be a loser. You might not get everything that you want, but you'll be able to make a compromise somewhere along the line, right? It's really hard. It's really hard to do if it's something that you are definitely, I'm passionate about challenge course and doing that stuff. I don't really feel like I'm that person that I don't need anything, I'm good, I'll do it. But, you know, we all have our limits, we know whenever we need some help, so asking somebody to step in and be that person that you can turn to and say, hey, I really need your help with this, you know, blah, 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 blah. That allows you to be able to pull them in, they feel valued, you feel valued, you know, you have somebody on your side that's gonna help you out that you can lean on. That value can go a long way in the workplace, right? Working in a toxic relationship too. But a workplace isn't fun. So having that compromise and being able to be flexible and amiable and, you know, whatever, you know, to go with the flow just a little bit is going to be able to help that workplace situation out if it's something that's not already there. You know, I'm sure a lot of us are already doing some of this stuff. But can we take it a step further and make it even better? You know, I think that I really like this one. What do you guys think? Somebody.
I think doing that kind of rhetoric, you know, in the daytime was weird for me. That's more of an evening.
What do you mean by that?
Well, normally if I, like, you know, there was like a club I was in at one point that met in the evening, so when it came to that kind of, hey, come on, you know you watch it sort of stuff, it was that I'm not used to being in the middle of the day. So, okay.
Anybody else?
Hard when you have two type A personalities and you know each other.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to, because anything I would say, he would then counter, well, on this side we do, you know, so.
That brings up a good point, which is maybe a little bit off topic, but knowing your roles, you know, knowing what you're good at. What can I take away from you? What can you take away from me? How can we balance each other out? That's super important too. Anybody else want to jump in? I know you're like screaming at the top of your lungs to jump in, but.
I was initially kind of curious about what did a win look like? Like, so was the goal for me to get him to come to my side? Or, you know, am I losing something by just going to his side? You know, and not really knowing what that clearly defined win looks like. You know, ultimately in this kind of a setting, it was like, you know, what do I have to lose? You know, 5 minutes of my time. But, you know, in a big picture workplace setting, that can carry some significant consequences. Or, you know, some significant fear, like what Andy was talking about earlier. And so that was what was going through my mind. I don't know what was going through your mind, but it was kind of like, you know, when he proposed that we just switch sides, I'm like, well, we both accomplished the goal. I don't know if that's what a win looks like, but at least we're doing something. And it was based on those that were, you know, next to us on both sides. It was different than what they were doing. So then, you know, you're kind of going, well, we're the only ones doing this, you know. Are we going to get in trouble? Or, but, you know, when he introduced that idea, and I'm like, well, let's give it a shot. And then we just traded sides. And then we found out you guys did it too. And we're like, well, good thing you were on the other side of the state. So we can take credit for ours, and you can take credit. But, you know.
That's a really good point, though. You know, it's fearful.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot at stake sometimes. Now, does there need to be so much pressure in that situation? Or is it just us putting it on ourselves?
Right.
You know, are we our own worst enemy? Super philosophical, all right? Sometimes the answer may be the simplest. And we're looking every which way, but from point A to point B. So trying to figure out how you can make it work in the most efficient way possible, you might need to bring somebody else in. But like you said, it's hard whenever you have two people. I like group projects in school. I was like, I don't want to work with anybody. I know I can do it. I know I can get it done. You know, so, but being able to have that skill, I just got into my position 2 years ago, and I didn't realize how much I was going to need that. You know, so working with people is you gotta do it. There's no other way to get it done. But you guys did a good job. So we are going to move on to our next one. We have about a little over 5 minutes, so it's a pretty good time. So our next one, you can stay in your partnership. All right, and who knows how to play rock, paper, scissors? Maybe I'll ask who doesn't know how to play rock, paper, scissors, because I had 2 people in my last session who did not know. I had never met anybody who didn't know how to play rock. Now, there's a little bit of you know, there's 2 different ways to do it. There's a shoot thrown in there sometimes, and the way that we're going to do it so that we're all on the same page is rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All right, so you'll do it on shoot, and what you're going to do is say we're playing rock, paper, scissors. We do the best of 3. You win. I lose. I now become your entourage. And what's your name?
Joanne?
Joanne. Woo! Joanne's going to raise her hand, and she's going to find somebody else that won. And they are now going to challenge each other, best of 3. And then whoever keeps if you lose, you now become a part of that person's entourage. And I'm gonna say, woo, Joanne! You're gonna cheer, and you're gonna be loud. It's okay, Ash, come on, she said it's cool. And you're gonna cheer for your leader, for your person, all right? So, go ahead and get in your partnership. Best of 3. Remember, it's okay to be loud. All right? And then best of 3. And then raise your hand, find another partner to beat. Go ahead, Lizzie. Sorry. Circles are
These people will smile.
Alright, nice job, we had a winner. What you guys think about that one?
That was good.
That's a good one, right? That's a fun game. Everybody usually knows rock, paper, scissors. I'm not gonna make any more assumptions. But everybody usually knows rock, paper, scissors. This is a great activity that you can take back. And just, it's an energizer. You can get your, at the beginning of your meetings, do something, or at the end of you can start and end with this. And you can have a running tally if you wanted in your workplace. Who wins the rock, paper, scissors war, I have handouts to give to you if you want them at the end, and it has this game on there. So it has this game and cross the line on it that you guys can take back with you. But I love this game because it's just for fun. It can mean nothing if you want it to mean nothing, or it could mean something. And in this environment, I want it to mean, you have losers, right? Or loser, I think there's winners and losers. You have losers. And that's okay, because it's after you lose, what are your actions after that, right? What happens whenever your idea that you worked so hard on gets turned down and they choose somebody else's? What do? Do you feel sorry for yourself when you sulk? Maybe a little bit. You can have like a 10-second pity party, right? And then you go and you congratulate that person. You say, dude, I'm so happy for you. Let's do this. How can I help you? How can I help you get this done? I think that's something that maybe we miss sometimes. Maybe your pity party lasts more, a little bit longer. So the faster turnaround that you have, and now, I love it because it takes you into, dang it, I lost. And then you immediately go into the position of supporting that person.
Right.
Right? It's harder, obviously, in real life, in the real world. But if you can practice and get better at it and start putting yourself in that person's position and say, if I was the one to get my idea picked, which I'm sure you have at some point, you had support behind you. You had people to help you, and it made your life a little bit easier. So just kind of think about that whenever you take this stuff back to your workplace. How can I lend a helping hand to my fellow coworker or my supervisor or whoever it may be? That can make a big difference in somebody's life. And talking about support in the workplace is great, but also support in your personal life as well. You know, how are you doing today? You know, what'd you do this weekend? Anything fun? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that whatever might have happened that wasn't so great. You know, and you can be there, you can be a little bit of a shoulder. You know, I don't know your rules in your workplace, you know, how far you can go as far as being a support system. But even with my students, I'm like, hey, how are your classes? You know, how are they are you doing well? Are you doing bad? You know, and you can usually tell, especially as a supervisor. Hopefully you're seeing people face to face and not just through emails. That's another important thing is people like to see you. They like to know that you're there. So going in their office and saying, hey, how you doing? How was your weekend? You know, something as simple as that can make a big difference. And they're like, oh my gosh. You know, my big boss, Brent, he'll stop in every once in a while in the rec and say, hey, Hannah. And I'm like, nice to see you. Like, I haven't seen you in a while. I've gotten a bunch of emails from you, but it's good to see your face. And they're smiling, and it's always positive, so that means something too. But just having that support in the workplace, outside the workplace, can make a big difference. And this game is a great activity for you to do. Like I said, as an energizer that means nothing, or as something that you can relate back to that positivity and being in a support role. But yeah, do you guys have any questions, or do you want to talk about that one? No? Okay. You're so talkative. That's okay. That's all I have. So I have handouts if you do want to just come up, and I have cards if you would like more ideas for activities to do with your people. Feel free to shoot me an email and I can send you, I have a whole booklet full of activities, or you can use the internet. The internet's awesome. It's got some great stuff on there. And it's got videos, a lot of camp games if you've ever been to camp. That Entourage game that we just rock, paper, scissors, that's a big camp game. A lot of camps use that because it's just a blast. But if you want any other ideas, or you're looking to have more sessions like this with your people at work, then, or, you know, church groups, whatever. We have a lot of those, they're fun. Holler at me. I have a card and I have a handout, so that's all I have.
Yeah.